In this lesson, we're going to look at edge softening or parting lines in Keyshot. We have these two parts here. Let me hit my space bar and look at our scene. So we have the body front and the body back, and we also have the battery door. But when we cut these, I had us intentionally not put a fillet edge on those because I knew that it was going to be kind of difficult. And I also knew that we could just go ahead and add that right within Keyshot. And the way you do that, let's just kind of get an angle here so we can make sure that we're seeing this nicely. So right now there's no parting line, even though these two pieces are separate pieces. So the way that we get this is we select the part, and we actually have to go in and open up the little window and individually select the actual body part itself. And once we've done that, let me just open this a little bit larger. You can see we have some different settings here, and it's called rounded edges, and it is somewhat experimental. Found that it works out pretty good actually. So if I just put in a 0.2 here, and I'll click off of that, you're starting to see a little bit of something there. Now it's fairly faint, but remember we're going to apply that to the next part as well. So we're going to apply the same kind of a round to the main body back. And notice if I click on the main topic for this, that is not a choice for me. So I have to go into the sublayer, and now I see radius. If I make that a 0.2, you can see now we're starting to get a little bit more showing up here. Now you've got to be somewhat careful with it. If you get too large, you're going to start to see all sorts of weird things actually happening to your geometry. You may see some faces disappearing or holes. So it's just sort of a process of finding, the lowest number that's going to work good for you. Let's try a 0.5 for both of these and see what that gives me. Now you can see 0.5 is looking pretty good. Might be getting just a little bit of distortion on the edges there. So let's knock that back just a touch and see if that fixes that for us. So I'll go to a 0.4 instead of a 0.5. Oh, I'm still seeing some strangeness there. So let's make that a 0.3. Make that one a 0.3 as well. Let's knock that back even more. As I said, it's kind of an experimental feature. So it may take a kind of a little while to play with it. And it's only going to be a small amount that you're using. But it is kind of these nice things that add the nice detail into these models. So I ended up back at the 0.2 that we started at on both of these. So if I go to my V2, we really can't see that. Let me try my V3. So if I run into something from the side, I might use an angle like that. Something a little bit closer. And again, we're not looking for sort of this glaring kind of an edge. And we're really just looking for something that gives an indication of something going on. Let me make that 0.3. And that pops it just a little bit more. So now we know something's going on. A parting line isn't a detail you want everybody to notice, but it's something that's in there your eye picks up on, and that makes everything look that much more believable. Most people leave that sort of a detail out when they're working in 3D, and I think it's those kind of details that really make it hard to tell whether your model is actually a real photograph or a 3D rendering. So that concludes our look at edge softening within Keyshot.